All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Harper College. Introduction to Criminal Justice LEJ101. Today we're going to have a very interesting presentation by our very own officer, Aggie, who is with the Harper College Police Department. Aggie's going to talk to you about her background and how she actually reached her goal of being a police officer. Her studies at Harper and how they helped her, and how she progressed and was able to join the Harper Police Department. After the recorded section of this presentation, we'll open the floor up for a Q&A, and I want to see some real involvement, okay? You've got to have some questions for her and how she got to this point, okay? Officer Wajda, the floor is yours.
Hi guys, my name is Aggie, or Agnieszka if you're Polish. So, like Dr. Johnson said, I was a student here at Harper. I was a student here at Harper, but my story began a little earlier. I actually am from Poland. I moved here to the United States when I was 18. I was a senior in high school. In the middle of my high school year, my parents decided to move. My English was not very good. My parents actually did not speak any English at the time, so my beginnings were kind of tough. I did not know what to do with myself. I knew I wanted to be a police officer or a soldier, but at the time, it seemed impossible, especially because I didn't speak much English. So I went and took a couple classes. I actually started my Harper studying in about 2007 it was, I can't even remember, long time ago. And I was taking one classes at a time. It was taking forever. It cost a lot of money. So at some point I decided maybe I should join the military. I joined the Navy in 2008. I was 24 going on 25. At the time I was very excited about it. Now I can think this was the best decision I made in my life. But while I was in the military, it didn't seem like that. This picture we actually took after one of the deployments. I'm one of the people on the bottom actually scrubbing the deck. So this was actually me. This was the part that I hated because we had to do that after the deployments. It was tough. I didn't do the job that I wanted to do. I wanted to be military police or do something with ordnance. That was not what I was given. They pulled me into the office when I was in boot camp, and they said, hey, you're going to be an electrician. I'm like, no, I won't. They're like, yes, you will. I had no choice. Still, even though it wasn't something I wanted to do, it taught me so much about who I am. It helped me with my English. And this was me right after joining. Look at this naive and innocent face, all right? They told me, oh, you're gonna, go around, see the world, and you're gonna get paid for it. They didn't say how hard it's gonna be while you're doing it, because this is actually how we slept on this ship. It's 6 people to a cube, so there's like one bed, second, third, and on the other side. And this is for months at a time. This is how you sleep, this is how you live. Very close quarters, no personal space, everyone is in your business. Life on the ship was hard, but it was rewarding. I was stationed in Japan for about 2.5 years, and went on deployments in Asia. So I was able to see, Hong Kong, Singapore, we went to Philippines, we went to Korea, Thailand. Those are short port visits, because they usually take about 4 days. But they make up for all the hard times. Because you're out to sea for about a month, sometimes longer, between the ports. And you work 24/7. There are no days off. There are no, you work at least 12-hour shifts. And most of the time it's more. It's about 14-hour shifts. Every day for 8 months or a year. So deployments are hard, but going into port makes up for it. And you get paid for it too. This was taken right after we crossed the line, the equator. So they do this ceremony where if you've never done it before, you're a polywog, and you're the guy, like, have you ever seen like sorority movies where they do like the week, the introduction week or whatever? So basically that's what the sailors do too when we cross the equator. It's a big tradition for the sailors. It was fun to be actually the shellback, because then you make the polywogs crawl and go on their knees and do all kinds of obstacles and get covered in salt water. But it's all good fun for everybody, and it creates the friendship between people. Those are just some pictures. When you're out to sea, sometimes they give you good days. So the top picture I took of the guys and that one, this was during a Steel Beach picnic. So basically you're in the middle of the ocean, middle of nowhere, and we bring grills up to the flight deck, and we grill, we play sports, they go into the little kiddie pools. You would think that those guys are just jokers, but those are the air crew, which are kind of like SEALs, a little, like one level down from SEALs. They're the crazy ones, I would say. You can see that in the kiddie pool. Alright, but at some point I decided Navy was not something I wanted for the rest of my life. Partially it was because I was part of the emergency relief efforts that were done in Japan after the earthquake in 2011. So the big earthquake and the nuclear power plant that was going crazy in Fukushima. I was there, and we were actually flying our helicopters to provide relief for the victims of the flood and the whole thing, the tsunami. All right, what I realized at that time is I actually want to help people more than just what I was doing in the Navy. So after 5 years, I was honorably discharged, and I returned to Harper, actually. I started taking classes full-time. That's when I took class from Dr. Johnson. And I graduated from here with my associate degree. Decided to go get my bachelor's because it actually helps when you're trying to be a police officer to get your bachelor's degree. A lot of departments nowadays require it, or they would prefer it. So Dr. Johnson got me in touch with Dr. Shack from National Louis University, and I finished my bachelor's there. While working there, or right when I graduated with my bachelor's, I got a job as an asset protection officer at Walgreens. They have a headquarters in Deerfield, Illinois, and that was actually a really good job. I was there only for a short period of time because I got hired as a police officer, but it got me noticed. It was an awesome job. It paid good money, and that was something that I suggest you guys do. Try to find a job as an asset protection or security officer, because it teaches you certain things, for example, talking on the radio, that will help you later on in your career. Currently, I have a couple links here. We have an opening for a CSO, Community Service Officer, at Harper. And actually, one of the students that was in this class last year when I did my presentation worked for us as a CSO for a while before she decided to go pursue other options. So if you go to Harper website, let's see if this is Harper website, you have you can apply to be a CSO. I also have, of course. Something that you guys can also do is apply for this job while you're in school. This is a alcohol compliance agent at Schaumburg PD. Basically, you go into establishment, if you're under 21 and you're in school, you go into an establishment and try to buy alcohol. And you work with Schaumburg Police. That gives you opportunity to get your foot in the door. Also, if you've never heard of it, Indeed.com, security officer jobs. And you can go on Indeed, put whatever, like security officer in Palatine or any other place, and try finding a job there. Another last one I have for you is the Blue Line. The Blue Line is an awesome website, and it gives you police jobs and CSO jobs. Right now, you can try to be CSO in River Forest. So if you guys want, after we record it, I can give you the website. But getting your foot in the door through working as a CSO or working as a security officer is a very good step that will teach you basics, especially as a CSO. I really regret not doing that before I became a police officer because it would make it so much easier. All right, let's see. Let's talk about testing for being a police officer. You've heard of power test, right? All right, there are 2 places that you can do it and actually receive a card. So if you test for police, different departments, you can just show them the card and you don't have to do the power test on the day of the testing. So you just do the written test. Those 2 places are NIPSTA in Glenview, Northeast Illinois Public Safety Training Academy. And you just click on power test. Or not, right there. And it gives you dates. This one, I see there's not many dates for now anymore, so it's February, January, February. But you can also go to Triton College. That's where I went when I got this job. I went to Triton, I got my power test card, and it costs about $50, but at least you don't have to do it on the day of the test. And also, a lot of departments nowadays require you to have the card. They don't provide their own power test. So they want you to just come with the card. The card has to be like valid within the last 6 months. Written tests are all different. I failed some, I got really good scores on some. I tested a lot. I tested everywhere. Especially if they give out application, I know you have to pay for it, and you guys probably don't have that much money because you're college students. But if you really want to go for a department, I suggest going. And there's also a lot of departments who still test, but you don't have to pay for it. For example, a couple months ago, Palatine was testing. You could just apply, you didn't have to pay for application. The tests, some of them test more knowledge, other tests test more psychological. I took Lake County Sheriff test, it was all psychological. I was going crazy in there, and that's the one I failed. I'm okay, all right, but don't get discouraged. It happens. Sometimes you get worse scores, sometimes you get better scores. For me, personally, it helps that I'm a veteran because it adds points. But if you work as a CSO, I know there are different categories, and you can add, they give you like preference points for certain things. If you work as a CSO, that's one of them. During the hiring process, the most dreadful thing for me was psychological testing. Usually it takes about 5-6 hours. And you sit there and you have 2 columns of words. On one side you have, I'm positive. On the other side, I'm adventurous. And you have to choose one. How the hell do you choose? You know? So that was like, it just took forever. And after you get out of psychological testing, you feel, oh my God, I failed this. I don't know. But usually you're a normal person, so you pass it. It's a long process and it's hard. Polygraph, they usually want to know if you smoke pot, or if you did any drugs, or if you stole anything. So it's simple questions that you can actually research online. You can put it in Google, and it will show you sample questions. And just be honest with them. It's a little nerve-wracking because some of the polygraphs that I took, you gotta sit on a little pad, and your feet have to be on another pad, and they put all those wires around you, so just that is nerve-wracking. But you can get through it. Interviews, usually they do different levels, so you might take interview, and you have the commissioners who are not police officers, Then you get another interview with police officers. Sometimes there are group interviews where you're not yourself, you're Mr. Green or Mrs. Red, and that's all. They don't want to know anything about you. They just want you to answer the questions. And the questions will be like, in today's world, you're a police officer and your friend come up to you and say, why would you want to be a police officer? Police officers are brutal. Think about it. How would you answer? That was one of the questions that I got asked during an interview. Tell them the truth. Be yourself. Because if you try, guess what the interviewers want to hear, you come out as fake. So it's best to just think about it for a second and answer as truthful as possible. I made it to the academy. The academy, there are 3 different academies, or there's more in Illinois, but this is predominantly departments send people to either PTI, which is in Champaign, Urbana-Champaign, CELEA, which is the DuPage College, and ISP, that's in Springfield, that's for Illinois State Police. The differences are CELEA and PTI right now are 14 weeks long. ISP is 6 months. ISP is a lot more like a military academy, they're very strict, they're very in your face. PTI, I went to PTI. I really liked it because we had to stay there during the week. We could go back to, I'm from around here, from Palatine, so I would come back on the weekends, but during the week you were there. It puts you in a mindset that you're studying. You don't have to worry about your family, about kids if you have them, about your parents, about anything, because your main purpose is to study there. And the classes would go from 5:45 in the morning, because that's when PT started, to sometimes till 10 at night. PT wasn't bad. Everyone's scared of PT in the morning. You don't run every day. I mean, I don't know about ISB. They might. They're a little crazier than others. But we wouldn't run every day. We would do circuit training. We would do obstacles. We would do gym and workout equipment. So it depends. We would have to be in class at 8 in the morning. So they had to keep it to 45 minutes to an hour the most, because everyone has to go change, go take a shower. I don't know about CELEA, don't ask me, but PTI was like that. I heard CELEA doesn't run every day either. As for studying, the biggest thing was the compiled statutes. That's the laws in Illinois. We had to learn a lot of criminal and traffic laws. The good part is you don't have to learn it verbatim. They don't want you to learn it verbatim because laws change so often that they just keep it more short. So as long as you know what it is, and the tests are usually, multiple choice. State certification at the end of academy was a little tricky because the state certification was done by independent company from Texas. So for example, they had rape in there. In Illinois, we don't have rape, we have criminal sexual assault. So there are some differences. The same with juvenile justice. Things change so fast that the tests are a little old. So they had to teach us, okay, for test purpose, this is the answer. For real life, this is the answer. That was the most confusing thing, but we got through it. This was defense tactics. They teach you how to fight. They teach you how to put cuffs on people, how to pressure point. This is how my hands looked afterwards, my legs, my hands. It was just, to me, it was fun. But, so don't get scared. Some people get hurt when they get too intense and too involved into it, but most of the time, it was all right. Scenarios in the academy, they put you through scenarios. Basically, they had actors come in and play the bad guys, and you have to deal with it. It's different types. You have domestic batteries, traffic stops, and what they give you is air guns, and the actors have paintballs. It hurts getting shot with the paintball. Okay, I can tell you that. And scenarios are usually set up in a very tricky way. So they come up with those intricate scenarios where if you do one thing wrong, you're gonna get shot. I got shot in my leg. I survived. So, but it was always fun. It was always, if you said the right thing, the scenarios would go the right way. Sometimes it didn't. They just want to teach you how to respond to different situations. They want to teach you that things might change in that fast. At the range, even though I was in the military, I really didn't shoot gun much. So my first real introduction to weapons was at the academy. And they're very strict rules, but if you follow them, you're going to be fine. For defense tactics, the 6-minute gap check, that was intense. You think 6 minutes of fighting is nothing. It really is if every minute your opponent changes and you're still the same person. So they would do like, for the 6-minute gap check is the last test of your abilities. And you start on your back, somebody's on top of you and you're trying to fight them off. Then you switch, somebody's trying to get your gun. Basically for 6 minutes, you're fighting six different people. I was exhausted. I didn't know how to speak afterwards. I was like, because afterwards you have to actually arrest somebody. And I'm standing there with my gun and trying to say, stop, hands up. And stuff are not coming out of my mouth the way I want them because I was so exhausted. OC spray was one of the most painful things I've ever went through. They hit you right across your eyes, and you have to do certain things. You have to go around an obstacle course, and you have to run, you have to fight somebody, you have to shoot a laser gun, you have to cuff somebody, all while you're like crying, snot's coming out of your nose, you can't breathe, you can't see. You have somebody like making sure you're not running into the wall. But still, it was excruciating, and you think, all right, you get to the water, you're gonna spray the water on your face. That makes it worse. That just reignites the whole OC. But that's not the end of it. You go home, you think, all right, it doesn't burn anymore. You go in the shower. Guess what? Water again. And you get it all over. So they tell you, when you're taking a shower after OC spray, do it like this. So the OC spray doesn't run down your body into your delicate areas, you know? And then the next day you're taking a shower and you think, oh, it's gonna be fine. No, again. So usually it takes about 2 days for all the OC spray to get out of your hair, out of your pores, out of you. Taser. My department at the time, because I started at a different department. I came to Harper afterwards. So my department didn't want me to get tased, but it was fun to watch other people get tased. All right? Because people make certain noises that you never thought. Guys, 6 foot, big burly guys, and they go into such a pitch that, glasses are taped. So that was after the scenarios. You wear the mask so you don't if you get shot in the face, it doesn't hurt too much. Graduation from the academy, I was just, the only thing going through my head was to fall right on the stage because that's going to be embarrassing. As a new officer, learn how to adapt to change. Things change fast. Like I said, I was at a different department before. And don't get discouraged if this doesn't work out. It's like a regular job. Certain things won't fit with you, with your personality. So about 25% of people from my academy are not with their original departments. They either switch to different departments or they switch careers altogether. It's not for everybody, and not every department might be for you. I know I said earlier, test everywhere. But make sure that when you actually accept this offer, you want to go to this department. Because it's going to be hard to go to somewhere where you're not really sure about. Nowadays, they make you sign a contract, 3-year contract, and if you break it, you gotta pay back for the kid. Some of your friends will disappear. Some of your friends who like to smoke on the side, you can't go to those parties anymore. So you're gonna lose friends, but you're also gonna gain new ones. Because among the police officers and first responders, you're gonna find people that you're gonna click with, and you will find new friends. If you have family, I don't know if any of you guys do, but you gotta find a way of balancing it, because a lot of the times, girlfriends, boyfriends, spouses, they have to adjust to your life too. You will get a lot of that, the awkward encounters when I go into the place. I didn't do it, he did it, and my least favorite. You see a mother with a little kid and you walk into the place and they're here for you. That's so annoying. I don't want to scare this little kid. But it's the parents. And you have to be just like, hi, you know, a little awkward. It's okay. In the academy, because of all the working out, that's the best shape you've been in your life, probably. Not everybody, but most of the people. Because departments don't require you to pass any physical nowadays. They might have some incentives if you want to work out, like gym memberships, or there could be a gym at the department. But you sometimes don't have time. You're so tired after your shift, you just don't want to go to the gym. You just want to chill with your boyfriend, girlfriends, and other kids. As a police officer, you have to look the part. So if your shoes are all scuffed up, or if your hair is all sticking out, your uniform looks bad, this is how the public is going to perceive you. My biggest issue at first when I started was listening to the radio. I get lost because you have somebody in front of you talking to you, and the radio is in my ear talking to me too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going crazy. And there's a lot of writing. If you don't like writing and you want to be a cop, you're going to have a little problem. You write all the time. Even here at Harper, we write reports for everything. Geography is a big thing. So if you choose a department, for example, Naperville is so huge, you'll never learn every single street. But this is one of the things that you can start learning while you're in the academy. This was last year, movie night at Harper. Don't expect to become a K-9 officer or a SWAT officer a year after you join the department. First off, you have to go through probation. You can't do any of that while you're on probation. Probations are usually a year and a half. After that, you can try, and you'll see, maybe you can get it. The bigger the department, the more options you have. While you're walking around, always think about what would happen if. That's what I do here. You think this is college, nothing's gonna ever happen. But we know, real life, how many active shooters do we have in this country in the last year? And learn to speak in front of people and cameras. This was really hard for me because I was very shy as a kid, and I'm still like right now, I'm probably, my accent is coming out. That's because I'm a little nervous talking to you guys. But you will overcome that the more you talk to people. For all the ladies here in the class, being in this profession is hard. You feel like you have to prove yourself constantly, especially if you look a little younger. You will have those people, those traffic stops where you will hear, "Sweetheart, I didn't do anything." And you're gonna try to explain, "Hey, I'm giving you a ticket for this and this," and you get somebody screaming at you. My male colleagues come, and suddenly, this person is an angel. So get used to that. Learning to be a woman, a mother, and an officer at the same time. You probably want to have kids one day. You're gonna have to try to balance that. I'm gonna go faster because we don't have time. This was last year, the conference that, they have conferences all over for women right now. Ladies, you're gonna have problems with some guys because they don't like strong females. Some of them, I'm not saying all of you guys, right? But you're just gonna find different guys that actually don't mind. Because you're no longer a damsel in distress, you're the strong one in the relationship, and they have to deal with it and they have to get used to it. And another thing, the heavy makeup in 100-degree weather, it's just gonna run down your face. During the summer, I wasn't even wearing makeup because there was no point. I was sweating so badly that this thing, right now, I don't need a jacket because it's so hot. And plus it weighs about 25 pounds, all of the equipment. Yeah, you get it. This was historic first for Harper College when we had all female shift. Because we had enough officers. They didn't have any girls. We still don't have a separate locker room, all right? I told you guys I worked somewhere else before, and that's the whole thing about your mindset. Most of the departments want you to be somewhere in the middle between a hunter and a guardian. But some departments want people more hunters or more guardians. Here at Harper, we're more guardians because they want us to teach instead of just punishing people. I'm not going to go into this whole the sheep wolf and the sheepdog. If you watched American Sniper, the movie, they kind of talk about it. Here at Harper, we're in Building B. You got the phone number for us. If you call 911 from any phones on campus, they're going to transfer you to the dispatch out for Palatine, for the area, not to us. So for us, you have to actually call our number. And most of the crimes here on campus are crimes of opportunity. You left your laptop and went to the bathroom and you come back and the laptop's gone. You have no idea how many times did this happen. Or left your phone on the desk and it's gone by the time you come back. This is our biggest problem here. And we actually deal with a lot of people on the spectrum or mental illness. This is becoming a reality for police officers. We train for that. You just have to deal with people differently nowadays. It's no longer just beat cop who yells at you and gives you a citation. Now we have to be actually counselors, and we provide public service. And that's not only Harper, that's everywhere. I do bike patrol in the summer. Here we provide, if you locked out the keys in your car, we can open the car. We're not locksmiths, so if I break something, I'm sorry. We provide jump starts, we can do escorts, lost and found. If you find something or you lost something, contact the police. Most of the time, we already have your lost item. All right, and I think that's it.
All right, I want to thank Officer Wajda for coming and spending this time and giving real perspective, okay, to the job, to the search, to the education, how it benefits you, how it separates you from other applicants. So we really appreciate it, Officer. We'll have a Q&A in a second.